Hi geeks, it's Jenny from Geek Queen. So today I want to go over with you some ideas on how to edit your store, mainly how your products appear on your product listing page, and how you can rearrange them and what you can do with regards to size and how they appear on your page. So what I'm going to do first, actually going to go to the store page. So I'm not going to go over here and manage the store. I'm actually going to come up to the link and actually go to the store. Now I'm already logged in, obviously, to my editor. Okay, so here's my little store on Geek Queen. So what you actually first want to look at is when you click in this, okay, you're going to come up with this little store design. Okay, so what you can do is actually, we're going to work in here in a minute, but what I actually want to show you is the same as anything else. This is a widget that's dragged onto this page. So when you create a store, by default, sorry, that's Prada barking. When you add a store, by default, it actually creates this store link and it actually puts this main store widget onto the page. But that is something that you can add anywhere. So you can actually drag that onto another page if you want to. So just for now, we're just going to be working off this store page and we know this is already here. So as with anything else in the widgets, if we actually just hover on it and right click, we do have all these options here. Now one of them is Manage Store, which is the same link as if you go over here to the store and click on that one. But what we're actually going to do today is edit the design. So I'm going to click Edit Design, and you'll see we get the same pop-up that we do if we just come in here and click anywhere. Okay, we get the same pop-up. So it's two ways to get there. So this first general tab, this is actually what you're going to see here. So see these products here, they're all added to the main store. So if you have categories set up, underneath here there'll be all different categories as well. You can see I can just see my 3 products here, but there would be categories as well. So you actually could choose a category to display. Not probably the best idea for your main store because you don't really want to people just see one category. So choosing the main store is probably the best options. This breadcrumbs, that's actually once they click into a product, it actually gives a little breadcrumb at the top so they can just click to come back straight back to the store without backing if they want to. The footer, I'm going to leave that for now because that's probably another whole video. Okay, so you come down to your products tab and this is where you can change how this all appears. Let me just scroll up here. So you can see I've got 3 products here, they're all here, and now I've clicked on this product, we've got the product style. So this layout is, if you click on that, you can have different options. So if I choose this one, now what happens is when I hover on that, that's when I see these. This one I probably wouldn't use unless you actually have a really consistent product lineup that all your information shows really well when you hover. Otherwise, you can see that one shows pretty well. This one, it kind of gets quite lost in the colors backgrounds. But you can use it. Feel free to use it. This one is actually going to give you, you can see it's going to give you the name, the price, and the buy now button underneath. This one's going to align them, same kind of thing, but align them all without the button. You have to kind of hover on it. Now the difference here is you can click on that and add that straight to your cart. Whereas if you don't have the buy now button, you're actually going through to the product and then you click on it from there to add it to your cart. So this one is just obviously just smaller, and this one is a similar thing, but they're square. So I've got the square. So I like this one for mine. It kind of shows them the best, I think. And then what I can do, so I've just selected that layout and that's fine. I'm going to stick with that. So I can just close that box now. Now here we scroll down to the settings. So these are the settings in relation to these products. So each product will assume these settings. So you can't change it per product, it changes for every product. So you can see this is the image size. So if I click on large, you can see they get quite big. If I click on small, they're quite small. Medium is kind of Goldilocks just right. This image ratio is how the images appear. So if you keep watching this, if I change this to 3:4, you can see 1:1 will make them square, which is probably the best option actually because these are Instagram post templates. So that's actually probably the best option for these because that's how they're going to appear for people. So you can change the image ratio there. This space between images, if you look here, you can see there's a little bit of space here. If we drag this up, we can kind of make it quite a bit bigger. Or you can actually just highlight it and type in that box as well to achieve the same result. Now the number of items on page, you can go anywhere up till 9, and then after that it's 100. So if you go 100, effectively, if you've got less than 100 products, you're going to see all your products on the page. So that's how to do that. Now for me, I like the square ratio. I'm going to change these to large because it looks a bit better. I'm actually going to just give a little bit more space between them. So by adding the space, you can slightly scale how big your images are. So if I go down and go no space, you can see they're a little bit bigger. If I make this 25, you can see it just shrinks the images down slightly to add the space in. So that actually looks pretty nice. I quite like that, so I'm going to stick with that. So the frame means that there's a frame around the image. You can add an additional image on hover, so you can see when I hover on this, it changes to the next image. So that's kind of like can show people an example of what they're going to get behind the scenes. And you can turn the shadow on, and that's just going to give the actual image a shadow, which is, it's hard to see. This one might be the easiest one. Let's have a look now. No, it's really hard to see, but that's what it actually does, is it gives the image a shadow. So you can add or turn off any of these features that you want. So the title, the price, your SKU, you can hide. If you hide that, that's what happens. So you're going to show that, and you can see it's got this SKU here. I don't like that. I'm going to hide that. I don't think that's something the client really needs to see. And the same with the buy now button. So you can actually show that even though you've selected a layout that doesn't typically have it, you can actually choose to show it. So that's how you kind of edit all that. So the alignment, again, if we click the middle, it just means it's going to align all this information to the middle. So again, the alignment is per product, not for all the products. So everything that we do here, it's going to be this consistent across all your products. So you can't just edit how one appears, it's how they all appear. Okay, so then what I actually want to do, if I come back up here, you can see I'm in the product style here. Now if I come into product text, this allows me to edit these little, or the title, the price, the buttons, all of that. So if I click on my product title, this is actually what I want to change. So we can see the font name and the size. I want to change this color. So I'm just going to click on the color, and I want to change this to the navy on my website. Yep, I like that a lot better. Yep, I do. And the same, you can make it bold, underline the text direction. As English speakers, we probably would never change that, but if you are in a foreign language, you might want to. Okay, so you can change anything that you need to in here. So this is just for the product title. So this is the title that I'm seeing here. So if I come back in here for the price, I actually I think I'm going to make that bold. I'm going to choose a different color for that. Let's try the gold. What does that look like? Not sure about that, but anyway, that will do for now. Okay, that will do for now. And then my button has the hover. Same thing, you can change bold, underline, anything you like. So all the actual settings of the change are the same, I'm sorry. It's just the actual styling that you're changing here. So this is how the paging appears. So once you have multiple pages, you can select the color for that. And again, I'm going to change that to my navy, because I like that navy. Okay. And the buy now button, so this is where you can edit the buy now button. So I don't want to change that because I like that. For what happens is it's actually going to assume the global design from where we set up how everything appears in your website. So unless you change it in here, it's going to assume that, which is why it has the gold and the blue, the hover, because that's how I set up all my buttons to appear. So that even though this looks like it has got a background color actually. If I was to change that to that, you can see now it's changed. Okay, but I'm going to take that back because I don't want that to be there. And I like it how it's transparent, and then now it's changed on that one. I'm going to go revert to global design, sorry. There we go, and now we're back. So that's how to actually change it back. So if you have edited it and you don't like it, you want to change it back to the normal site theme, how the global theme is, you can just click this revert to more options. This more design options, that's going to give you all your hover color and your hover background. So when you hover on it, what happens? So you can see that's the hover. So it's the same as you normally would edit anything else in your website. It's just we're doing for each product. So instead of doing, like a particular widget, we're actually editing all these products. Um, the button text is the same. We could change the button text. You can see now it's like white on hover. It's font, it's gold. Normally it's white on the hover. You can see how that is, so I could change that if I wanted to, but I don't want that. I'm actually happy with my button, so I'm going to leave that as it is. So there you go. That's how you can actually edit. It's pretty easy. What you can also do in here is if you want to come to this single product page, which is loading. Okay, so let me just see if I can get that out of the way. And now you can actually edit how it looks in here. So what I've done here is I've got, this is my layout here. Sorry, scroll up here. This is my layout. So effectively that's saying that I'm having one big image and all the other images are underneath. If I can change that if I want to, so I could select this one, and you'll see what it does. Put all the other images over here now, and just the little ones over here. Um, I want to come back to where I am. There we go. There they are now. As I like the size of them as bigger ones, and it kind of fills up the space, which I think looks a bit better. So you only have the three options. So if I click this top one, for example, you can see the other images now all appear down the side here. But that's kind of left kind of a big white space there, which I don't like. So I'm going to change it back to how I had it. So that's going to give, and it gives people a really good size images to have a look at, so they can kind of like, they don't have to click through for everyone. They can actually see how good it looks. You can also collect again your thumbnail ratio. So let's change this to 3:4, and you'll see, sorry, that one's changed. See how big it is? And see how it's kind of like, it doesn't really work now because it's a square image and it's changed it to a different ratio. So if I take that back to the images, you can see how now that's how it's supposed to appear. So if you put this is a square image, so I put this image in here and I change the ratio, it is going to crop some of the image or change how the image appears. You can see because now it's added in a landscape format and it's not a landscape image. So that's just something that you kind of need to watch. So this will work differently depending on how you have your images. So if you have landscape images, obviously the one-to-one would crop it weirdly and it would look strange. So you just have to keep keep that in mind. So this details position, I've got it on the left now. I can put it on the right, so I could move the image over and put all this info on the right. So you can choose whatever you want to do there. And this description position is beside or below the image. So if I click below the image, you can see this all is going to go right down the bottom because it's going to put it below all the images. So, and you can see that's actually, I've got that in the description. So this is one image that I've got in the description. So it's going to put them underneath all of them, which doesn't look great. So I'm going to use beside. Okay, and then I've got all my info here and it keeps going down the page and the page is all kind of full with images. And this part here probably is, I might change that, I think, to be just one step after another instead of being side by side because that doesn't look great. But that's kind of how you would have to kind of edit it. That's what you would do. So again, if we go to this more design options, you can turn on the SKU on or off the tax, sales price, wholesale price, price per unit, all those kind of stuff. Quantity. So if people wanted, if you had multiple, if you were selling black t-shirts and people wanted to buy two, you could turn the quantity on so they could select the quantity at this point. Alternatively, once they get to their cart, then they have the option to just add another item that's the same. And finally, this share buttons. So if we turn that on, when we go down to the bottom here, you can see that people can share the product then, which actually I'm going to leave turned on because this is a social media product, so I kind of like the fact that people could share it. So that's what we're actually doing. We're actually editing the single product now that we're in here. So we can go up here. And we go over to the product text and the same thing, like if I wanted that to be smaller so that all fit on one line, I would just come in here and I'd change that to, let's go 30. No, it doesn't quite fit. Let's make it 18, then it will. Yeah, and you can see it all fits on one line, but that's kind of too small. I don't like that. So I'm going to change this back to, I'm going to go with the 30 again, I think. Yeah, I'm happy that it goes over 2 lines, so I'm not that bothered. And again, so you can add your price. This is what I was talking about with your breadcrumbs. This will enable someone to just click this button and go straight back to the store page instead of having to go back on their browser or back to the store menu or whatever. So that's a really good idea. So you can see how this is kind of exactly the same. You're just editing the same things. It's just in the single product page now. So if we minimize that, then we can come to our cart and checkout, and this gives you an example of what your checkout looks like. So again, here's the title. We can edit the title, the subtitles, the link style. We can this is all the text, so we could edit the text, whatever color we want. So we can do all that kind of stuff. Your cart layout is, the actual layout is fairly set in stone, simply because it's just, there's certain information that you have to show people. So we don't want to give people the capability to turn stuff off that you legally have to show people. So that's why this is all kind of like a fairly standard layout. But it's easy to read, it's clear, it's clean, it looks good. So, and everything kind of still follows the your design layout. Okay, so again here, if we have the cart title, we could change the color, we could change the alignment, so we could move it to the middle if you want. I actually like the left, so I'm going to change it back. We can change the title, the font, all that kind of stuff. So again, everything in here, if I just close this again, this is what you're actually changing. So you're changing the products being your product list, which is how this appears, or you're changing your single product, which you just did, your cart and checkout. Now the only one left here is the spacing. So this is actually just generalized spacing. I would prefer that you kind of didn't change that. This is the spacing around here. So for example, if I take this out, if you watch this page, see how that lines up completely with the edge, which is never a great idea. You always want a little bit of margin there. And it won't look too bad because all of this page is white. However, if you had the background of your main store as white and the background of your row as a color, that would look very weird because your text would line right to the edge of that border and that wouldn't look great. So there's a reason that all this kind of spacing is in here. You can feel free to change it, it's no problem. And again, like I've explained before, if you look at the blue border of this box, imagine that's this border here. And anything you're changing here is the gaps inside the box, and anything you're changing on the outside is the gaps outside of the box. So in here is inside the box, out here is outside the box. So it's the same kind of thing. And again, this little link reset all spacing, that will set everything back to 0. So if you've kind of done it and you don't like it, you can just reset it and start again. Okay, so that should give you a good overview of how to edit how your store appears, how to set up your paging, all that kind of stuff, how many products you can see, everything that you'd actually need to edit how your store appears. So I'll just come up here one more time. This little settings cog, of course. This is all your alignment again, and these are just quick links, clear padding. This entrance in animation, I'm never a fan of that on a store. I think you don't want to do anything that can slow anything down. And while it's a split second, really you just want things to instantly appear. That's really easy for people. So for example, I could fade that in from right, and that's what happens. You can just see it just fades it in from right. Let's go bounce in from left. See, and he comes in and has a little shake. So that's what you can do. Sorry, I'm just going to go back to none because I don't want any. The hide on device, same as any other setting. You can hide it on your desktop, tablet, mobile. I don't know why you do that, but you could. This and all your other basic HTML, your anchor, you can copy it, paste it somewhere else. So once you've actually done this, you could copy that and paste it to somewhere else. So for example, now pages here. Okay, so what we could do is you can only add one main store per page, so we can't add two. So with other products, we can add a widget, we can add 2 widgets, and then what we do is hide one of them on mobile and then hide the other one on desktop so that your mobile shows only the mobile version, your desktop shows only the desktop version. You can't do that with a main store. You can't have more than one on the page. So what we actually can do is you can see these store pages, we can actually hide the whole page. So we could create like store, for example, here, and then shop like for example, if you want it on mobile, so that on desktop people see this store and they see it all set up like this, and then we could hide this page on mobile, and we could add another page that says shop, and we could do it all again, but formatted for mobile. So it's a much better option for mobile. So you might make your images smaller and your text smaller, and you might align it differently and all that, make it centered, all that kind of stuff. So that's what you can do capability wise to actually format your store more suitable for either desktop use or mobile use, and that is actually a really good idea. So I hope that kind of covers everything for you and shows you how you can edit stuff fairly easily, and stay tuned for the next lesson. Thank you.